You were born to thrive. You were born to feel alive. Every single second of your life, your life, your life, your life. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I am so thrilled to welcome you to this new episode of Success Stories of Expat Women series. They did it, so can you. My name is Eva Sanders. I'm an inspirational singer and songwriter, and I'm also an empowerment coach helping women to thrive professionally, especially after they move abroad, which is sometimes a huge shift that can create a kind of earthquake in our lives. And I am very happy to introduce you today to Carmen Gorska, who just landed very recently in Switzerland, is it?
Yes, yes, 1st of March.
Wow, so it's really new. I think you are the youngest expert in Switzerland I have ever interviewed. So please just let us start at the beginning. Where are you from originally and what brought you to Switzerland? I know that's quite a long story, so we will try to pick up very important moments. But just first of all, where are you from?
Actually, it's funny that you mentioned that I am the youngest expat because I think I was already born as an expat. So, well, my origins are in Poland. So both of my parents are Polish, but they left Poland in a boat, in a sailing boat, actually. And by coincidence, they landed in Spain, in Mallorca. So I was actually born in Spain, but from Polish parents. So from the beginning, I was an immigrant.
Mm.
And yeah, I lived in Spain until I was 18, and now I'm 30. And for the last 12 years, I've changed countries 10 times. So this is my 10th move.
Wow. So is it like a year per country, something like this?
Well, the country that I stayed the longest was in Australia. I was there almost 4 years for my PhD, also with one break in the middle where I went to the US for half a year.
Wow. So tell us a few countries you lived in.
Well, Australia, US, Belgium, Sweden, UK, Barcelona, Spain, Poland.
Wow. So, and what motivate all these moves? Is it like professional or is it because you want to change culture? What's the motivation behind all these moves?
Well, at the beginning, it was like this push that all young people have. So I wanted to leave home, and it was mainly for studying abroad. And I had very good opportunities. I got nice scholarships that allowed me for these moves. And then I was satisfied with that already, and I started to have more ambitious plans in terms of career development. And I had a really good PhD offer, and that was in Australia. So that was the first time that I was doing it more thinking about my career and not for fun. And then after Australia, I also got a very good job in London, and now I got a really good opportunity here in Switzerland.
So where do you live in Switzerland and what do you do?
So I got a job offer at CERN
Mhm.
to be a fire and explosion expert,
Wow.
and that's the reason why I moved here. And I decided to get a cozy apartment in Geneva. So I'm commuting now from Geneva to CERN. It's not too far.
Welcome to Geneva. This is my
Thank
heart.
you.
This is my heart city. Um, okay. So it seems like very smooth professional journey for you, which is amazing. It's not always the time for everyone. What did you study?
Okay, well, okay. Maybe it sounds smooth from the outside, but there are always some troubles
Oh,
on
please.
the way.
I am interested in this because yes, of course, you say okay.
Actually, I
I
think
got
that the
scholarships and I could, which looks very smooth. But I am very happy you say, well, it can look smooth from outside, but if you live it, it's not always like this.
yeah, like if I'm honest with you from the beginning, I always have these. outside image of being like successful person, super disciplined, no problems. And actually, when I ask for help, people really don't listen to me because they don't believe I can have any problems.
Ah,
Because
wow.
towards the outside, I always look so successful.
Okay.
So, but yeah, no, it hasn't been always easy. It's true that I've worked a lot and I've achieved many scholarships and awards, so it
Yeah.
looks shiny from the outside, but there's been troubles on the way for sure. So very quickly I've started civil engineering, where I specialize in bridges.
Mm-hmm.
And then I did a bit of a career change because I went to a 2-year master program in fire safety and combustion.
Okay.
And this was a pretty prestigious master program, and there I met like very renowned professors, and I engaged with one of these professors, and he offered me to do this PhD in Australia.
Yeah.
The PhD had good and bad sides, as many PhDs have. So it was really nice to live in Australia. It was a really good university, top 50 of the world. So that was very nice. A lot of money invested into research, so
Research. Yeah.
very good resources. But it was at the same time many working hours, many lab hours during the night. Not many women in my like
This,
my environment has.
this was my question, because with the topic I would imagine mostly very male environment, not that
Yes, this
female.
is something that sometimes I laugh, like, women, who are they? I don't know them. I've had periods in my life that I was forgetting that there are women somewhere in the world, because it's very male dominated. And the farther I went into my career, the less women I see,
I can
definitely.
imagine. Did you experience any like misbehavior because you are a woman?
Oh yes, yes, yes.
How did you deal with this? This is interesting.
So a good help is to connect with more mature women than yourself.
Yeah.
So I would consider myself that I was lucky, because there was one the only other woman in that research group in Australia, and she was 12 years older than me, and I connected with her, and she already had some mental processes done in her head, how to deal with these certain behaviors and situations. So that helped me a lot, because just if you feel understood by someone, that already helps you to deal with these problems,
Yeah.
that you are not alone with it. At some point there was one situation that I brought it, like I kind of did like a request, because there was like a behavior from one person from the university that was not acceptable, and I went like on the official way,
Good.
and that required a lot of guts, but yeah, I did it, and I think it's good. um,
To set up your boundaries, it's very, very important, and to know what you can do. Like there is someone for
yes,
you who can listen to you, and something can be done.
like my main advice, I like now I see different women at different stages of overcoming these
Yes.
contexts, right? Because there are these younger women usually that have like a lot of energy, and they are very frustrated with the reality, and they burn themselves from the inside, because the world shouldn't be like that, and I used to be like that as well, and I'm not saying that I gave up, but you have to choose your battles, because before I was fighting against a huge storm which is impossible to fight,
No. Yeah.
and in the end you end up burnt yourself, so you lose actually the fight. So
Yeah.
now I learned that it's better to choose your battles, and not to allow this reality to really get to
Affect
that
you.
level of inner frustration. So it's better, I think, that let's keep fighting, but accept that this is the world how it is.
Yes.
And despite the world being like that, just accept it as a reality, and don't allow it to be an excuse not to pursue your dreams, your career, or whatever it is. So because when we are facing this problem, we can say, oh, I'm not getting promoted because it is a male dominated world, and
Yeah.
eventually you give up. I think it's better to have like a mindset change. It is a male dominated world, it is, and therefore I need to learn how to navigate through it.
So how do
But
what do
try to prevent get frustrated, and
okay.
it's like the world is also racist and there are Black people succeeding.
Absolutely.
Don't let it to be an excuse not to pursue your dreams, your objectives, or what, all these kind of things. I know it is it's very difficult, and I had to burn myself to come up to this
Yes.
stage.
Well, what I love in what you say, and it's you can apply it also to moving abroad and to expat women. First of all, connect with someone older, wiser, who went through this battle too, so you can find support and maybe advice, mentor, who can be there for you when you feel lost. So it's like connect with someone who went through this, who is wiser, who is father, and who can support you, help you. Second is discernment. Discern which battle is worth it to fight for and which one not. Otherwise, you will burn yourself.
Exactly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
third, don't allow this reality, which is sometimes unlikely very macho and very masculine word, don't allow this reality uh, to create excuses not
Mm,
doing what you want to do, actually.
exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
Mm.
It is very difficult. It is very difficult.
Yeah.
But this is how the world in which we live in. We either accept it and we learn how to play the game, or we are out of the game, basically, because
Yeah.
there is no other world.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Thank you, thank you. Okay, let us go back to the moment you left Spain, if I don't, and you went to Australia to study your PhD. How was it with relocation? How was it with adjusting to a new world, to new culture? How was it for you?
Actually, it was pretty okay, I would say, because I have two things to say. First is that when I was younger, I had only one luggage, and for many years, I was super flexible because all my life was in one suitcase, and I was just
Wow.
like changing countries very easily. And it is funny because I've done these changes so many times, but actually every time is a bit harder because now I have a full car full of things. So it's getting a bit harder. When I went to Australia, I went with still one luggage, so it was easy.
Wow.
I was very flexible there. And in Australia, I realized one thing that before, when people ask me, "Do you feel Polish or Spanish?" I was really not feeling from anywhere because I never belonged fully to one
Yeah,
place,
yeah.
because I grew up in a very Polish house, but in Spain, so I didn't really fit anywhere. But in Australia, I had this realization that, wow, I am really European. So it was really for the first time in my life that I felt that I really belong to Europe, and I am European, and there is something among us Europeans that unites us in terms of values, culture. Of course, there's a huge diversity within Europe, but there is something that we have in common, and I noticed that when I was in Australia. Um, it was okay because it was still pretty similar to my it was still in this student environment, so I
Yes.
didn't change. I didn't have like this drastic change from student to work environment.
Mm.
So that was pretty smooth, and the language was the same, English. I mean, I spoke English very well, so there was no problem there. So, but in Australia, it's the moment where I started to miss really like female companionship. That's true, because I was already in this PhD level, and that I could see that there is almost no women at that level anymore. So
Mhm.
maybe that was like one of the biggest differences. Yeah.
Mm. How did you deal with it? How did you deal with it? How did you accept it or did you do?
I have to admit that, and I think that many young women do this mistake, or it's not a mistake, it's a way of dealing with the situation that at the beginning, I was the center of attention, and I liked it because I was the young, pretty girl, and I liked it, and I was like, my ego was growing thanks to that. But after some time, I realized that that was not very. It's not, these kind of relationships are not good for the long term. They're not really giving me that what I want for the longer term.
No.
And I was never becoming like one of the guys of the team, you know, because I was in this other category. And that's when I started to realize that I really need to start building my group of friends. And I don't want to say that I was like exclusive with women and no guys, no, but I started to consciously looking for female friends and building like a group of support and close friends of women. Yeah. And I think that many, I like, because I lived this myself, I can identify this kind of behavior in other women, usually like younger women. And I think it's a very common way to manage with the situation, that you basically take advantage of being like the center of attention, but eventually you start seeing that this has like very short legs, no? Like it's yeah.
Okay, so you have been in Switzerland for 2 months now. How do you perceive Switzerland? How do you perceive this new move? How is it for you? What did you discover about yourself and the world there?
Actually, I think that this has been the hardest move.
Wow.
From all the moves that I've done.
Why?
Well, several reasons. Well, one of the reasons is that I was pulling more things from my past. I'm not that flexible anymore.
Yes.
So because now I have my car, I need to park it somewhere. Everything is new, like 20 parking systems. Now I don't want to share accommodation with my flat.
Yes.
And it's crazy in this country. You know, so the more you want and the more comfortable you get, the more time you need to maintain these things.
Yes.
Because before I was happy with renting a dodgy room next to the university, and now I have my apartment in the city center. And all this requires like more time, more attention, more effort. And then also in terms of jobs, it has been the biggest change.
Yeah.
Because before I was working in research, and my previous job was also like super related with my PhD research.
Okay.
And now I really changed to a more engineering type of job. So very different types of tasks, and yeah, it's very different job wise. And also the environment is, you know, this is not the CERN is not a private company where they have like these employees policies. It's a public enterprise. Yeah. And it has its own rules. Okay. So it just works in a very different way to what I was used to, basically.
So you have to you have to adapt, basically. You have to learn new language, new way of being, of behaving, of collaborating.
Yeah, and I think it's been a hard beginning because I do now a lot of site visits to the CERN installations, which are crazy because this is a particle physics experiments. Yes. So it's something unique in the world, and there are not many places like this in the world. No. And I go to these site visits to do inspections, and I am the only woman. I haven't seen another woman in these site visits. So I am new. I am usually the youngest, the only woman. I do not speak French, and they speak French, even though I don't speak French. So this has been very hard because I am there and I'm like, oh my God, like there is no point for me to be here and humiliate myself, because there's like, why are they not changing to English? I've had like actually today a conversation with my supervisor about this. Like this is not really being productive, you know, like it's affecting me psychologically, and I cannot do my work if everybody's speaking to me in French and I'm supposed to do an inspection. Absolutely. So I was able today to say this to my supervisor after 2 months. So, but yeah, so this is one of the things that made it hard, right? This kind of because if you expose yourself to this kind of situation, you get very demotivated. Absolutely. You kind of, I have to admit I've been maybe spoiled in the last 2 years, but it's not nice to feel that stupid. It's just not nice,
Yeah.
especially for us women, where we already have very often. I mean, I got a lot of confidence during the years, but this confidence, probably it's easy to push it back, because
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
something supernatural in me. It's something that I had to build. And I admit that I gained a lot of confidence once I had my PhD diploma and things like this.
Yes.
But here, it feels like it doesn't count that much anymore. So,
Mhm.
and it's easy to lose it, basically. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yes. Yes, because everything is new, and if you are not, because for me, if someone keeps speaking French even though they know that you don't speak French, it's not really welcoming you in a very warm way.
No,
You see, so
no.
so it's like,
Mm.
how do you deal with these moments of demotivation or that are difficult? What do you do? How do you keep going? What do you do?
Uh, my mother, she used to say that people who lose in life is because they surrender psychologically. So I just, well, put my shit together and I say, okay, I'm not gonna start crying and pack myself and leave. I'm just gonna stay here, and I just believe that this is temporary.
Yes.
So I signed, but I just think it's very easy to get very scared very fast.
Mhm.
And I mean, I am towards the outside, I am a pretty rational person because
Yeah.
I worked this over the years.
Mhm.
It was not natural, but inside, and I think most of us are like that. We are very impulsive,
Yeah.
and to deal with these emotions can be very hard sometimes.
Yeah.
So I've had a lot of moments coming back to an empty home after a terrible experience in my new job, where I was really sad. I was really sad and
Yeah.
depressed, and like looking at my phone quick and call to talk to someone today evening, right?
Yeah.
But I just know from experience that I am smart enough to overcome this, and it just requires a bit of time. So do not give up that quickly, and give it some time. And it's already improving. For the last 2-3 weeks, it's been already like improving. So I know this is just, it's a storm. It's a storm, but you never have a permanent storm.
I love it. You never have a permanent storm. It's a storm, but it will come to an end.
Yes.
Wow.
I mean, either they fire me or I learn the job, but it will come to an end. There will not be storm forever. It's true.
No. Oh, maybe you will learn French. Are you learning French?
I am learn. I'm signed up. Like CERN has like a French program,
Classes.
so
Mm.
I am gonna join this. Yeah.
Good, good. And maybe you'll create a bunch of French-speaking friends, and within a few months, there will
Yeah,
no
yeah.
need to go
I
about
hope
French
so.
anymore.
And it is expected from me.
Hmm. Okay, Carmen, thank you for your authenticity. Thank you for vulnerability, also being able to share your struggles, showing others that even though sometimes when we look very successful and very confident, there are like stories behind the scene that are hard for us, and that there are
Definitely.
storms, that there are storms,
Yes.
and how incredible it is when we can share them and show to others, well, we have been going through hard time too. So that's a part of, it doesn't exist like being always like there on the top. It's always like this. And the question is, how do you deal with these parts when you are down, when you are in a stormy time? And yeah, I love when you say it's temporary. Yes, maybe you have something else to add to it.
No, I've learned not to take action before giving me a bit of time to think about it.
Good.
So I have a lot of emotions, but before taking any action, I always say, okay, I'm gonna think. I'm gonna give it myself some time for emotions to calm down, and then I think. I also write many times because writing helps you to rationalize your emotions and your ideas.
Ah, wow, I love this one. Yes, absolutely. Get it out, get it on paper, on a computer, get it
Mm,
out. Journal,
yes,
do something with it. So you create this gap and you can say,
and I talk with people. I talk with people.
Yeah,
This
and
is also something that I learned over the years, because for many years I was not able to share my problems with others, or to
mm,
ask for help. It's something that I had to learn. But now I do talk with people from different sources, from with my father, with some friends, from colleagues, like people from different backgrounds, because I know that it helps to create better, like a bigger picture of the problem, because I have only like one perspective of the world. Yeah.
absolutely. Create like a safe network that you can talk to when you need. So
Mm,
you have this multi perspective on something that you think is a big problem. Actually, maybe it's not such a big problem if you have other points of view. I love that. Oh wow, thank you. Carmen, there is last one question. Maybe you have something else to add and to encourage these women who come to Switzerland and who struggle because maybe there is not job right now. They come through rejections. They are not welcomed very warmly as you were not. It can happen sometimes. So what would you suggest them? How can they deal with it? Is there anything else? Because you already gave us a few very beautiful tips, but maybe there is some last one or some few tips that could be helpful.
I think that connecting is in the end one of the most important. Like there are these research studies that they ask all elderly people what makes them happy, and they always say that this is relationships.
Hmm.
So yeah, the first thing that I do is like I write on these Facebook groups like Sisters in Geneva and these kind of things. And but I look for connections that I know it's gonna be a good match. So I write like a description of myself and what I like to do. So I like climbing, I like hiking, and I look for people that I could potentially share these things. And yeah, I try to look for someone that has some things that we could share together and spend some quality time together. Yeah, this is, yeah, I like rationally take action on that.
This is the basics. Create a relationship with like people who are on the same wavelength so you can share with them.
Because if we feel lonely, we have a filter and we see the whole world more hostile. It
Mm.
really, how we look at the world really depends on the filters that we have. And these filters depends on how we feel. So if we feel lonely, I think that affects a lot how we are perceiving the world. And I can see this in myself very clearly. Like if I have a plan for the evening to meet someone, like suddenly like the whole day is easier, you know? So for
Mm.
sure.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for sharing your wisdom, your experience, your tools, your vulnerability. I really appreciated this exchange. I wish you uh, more kindness, more welcome to your beautiful personality. I mean, for me, you are such a gift to the world. So I hopefully you will be welcome better where you are right now. I just wish you could be completely yourself, being able to assert yourself in your professional world, which is very masculine, and being respected as a peer.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
And all best of lucks for you as well.
Thank you very much. Okay, you are listening and watching to Success Stories of Expat Women. I am Eva Saunders, an empowerment coach, helping women assert themselves. This is one of very strong point, helping women to assert themselves even in very masculine environment. I help you to thrive professionally after you move abroad because maybe you lack clarity, you feel lost, you feel down, you have been rejected for quite a while and you lost your confidence. Get in touch. Don't stay alone. I offer you 45 minutes free clarity session to help you to gain clarity around where you are and what are the next steps to undertake so you can create better life for yourself. Okay, so please get in touch, send me a message, comment below this video, and I'm looking forward to meeting you again the next Wednesday with another episode of Success Stories. Remember, you were born to thrive. And thank you, Carmen. Bye
Thank you.
bye.
Thank you for inviting me. Bye.